Well, hello, listeners, and welcome to the Learn Everyday English YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be showing you some photographs that I entered into various photography competitions and photographs that I've won some awards with. So, this will be a little bit different for you. Use this as a listening comprehension tool. But first, let me remind you we do have a Learn Everyday English webpage. Just go to www.learneverydayenglish.com. There you can find our Learn Everyday English podcasts. You can listen to those from the webpage. But you can also download the podcasts on any podcast service like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. And you already know about our Learn Everyday English YouTube channel. So be sure to like and subscribe. Well, I'm going to jump right in and show you some photography, which is a passion of mine and something that is near and dear to my heart, which is means something that I love. So these are the different photography competitions that I've entered over the years. You can see the first one I entered back in 2016, and the most recent one was last year in the fall in 2020. I'm going to go start here. This was a competition of a club that I belong to called the Woodlands Photography Club. We had a competition online because of the coronavirus in October, and I submitted some photographs, I think 5 photographs. And I was lucky enough to win 4 awards in this contest. So this was an award I won, and this is a picture of a great egret and its chick, which is the baby. It's called a chick. And this was taken at a rookery, Smith Oaks Rookery. And a rookery is just a location where a lot of birds go when they migrate or they move, and they build nests like you see here, and they have babies and reproduce. So I was lucky enough to catch or take this photo, and I won what's called honorable mention. And the category of this photo was called nature, and the theme of this category is called wildlife. And wildlife just means like animals, birds, and other types of animals. So honorable mention, usually there's first, second, and third place. And after that is sometimes a category or an award that they call honorable mention. This next photo was submitted into the category called digital manipulation. And this was a photo actually that I took in Sedona, Arizona when I was on vacation. The interesting thing about this photo, it was actually a photo that I took during the daytime, and I changed or converted it to look like a photo that is at night. So I changed the sky, I added a moon, and this man that is playing an instrument called the trumpet was not there. I took him from another photograph that I had, which I took in another city, and I added him to this photograph. So that's why this is called digital manipulation. I manipulated the photograph and changed the look of it in a program called Adobe Photoshop. And I was lucky enough to win first place for this photograph. And the next photograph I submitted, this is of the Grand Canyon. And I don't know if any of you have been there before to the United States, but it's just the largest canyon here in the U.S., and it is just spectacular. We say, look at the view, look at the vista. It's just incredible how a river could form a canyon so grand and majestic. You can see the scale or how large it is by these people that are just out on this rock outcropping. I submitted this in maybe landscape category, but I did not win any awards or win an award for this photograph. And this is a photograph I submitted in the category called technique, and the theme was flash photography. And this is called water droplet photography. So I set up something at my house. I had water dripping into a container of water, which I had placed some green food coloring to color the water. And I used a flash so I could capture as the drops were hitting the water and, say, bouncing or coming back up. I was able to freeze the motion, kind of freeze the time, and capture these water droplets. And I was able to win third place for this photograph in this category. And finally, this is a picture I submitted in the category called field trips for our club. So our club, we try to have a field trip once a month, and we went to another town about an hour and a half from where I live, and we took a tour of what we call painted churches, and these are Catholic churches. I think we toured 4 to 5 churches, and this was a scene, a picture I took inside one of the churches, and as you can see, the churches are very decorated very nicely with a lot of bright colors, and I took this from a low angle, and I was lucky enough to win first place in the field trip category for this photograph. Going back to other contests, locally here in my city where I live, there is an annual photo contest given by the Sam Houston Memorial Museum, and I entered photographs into this competition as well, and I won 2 awards. This is another photograph I entered. I did not win an award, but this is of the Grand Canyon, also here in the United States, in the state of Arizona. Just a fantastic national park. This was a photo I submitted of a picture that was taken on the grounds or at the Sam Houston Memorial Museum park, and they had an exhibition of a man who was doing something called glass blowing or creating glass objects, and this was a furnace, and I took a picture of him, and I was able to win first place for the category of Sam Houston Memorial Museum grounds. This was another photo I submitted, and this was a photo of a gentleman who was making a pot, a form of pottery. I did not win an award for this, but I just liked the look of this with the hands and the clay as he was forming the pot. I submitted this picture, and this is a picture of a mockingbird, which is the state bird of Texas, and it won Museum Director's Choice Award, and I was happy to win that. And this is a picture I took of in the category for state of Texas, which is a cow, and as you may know or think, here in Texas there are a lot of cows, or we can say there are a lot of cattle, which is just a group of cows, and he was in a pond, and I took this picture. And this was another picture I submitted for like the nature category, and this is a waterfall in the state of, I think, Idaho, but I did not win any awards for this, but I just liked this photo. And we also, since it's the time of the coronavirus, one of the categories was pictures taken during COVID or the pandemic. And this is a picture at my doctor's office showing the precautions about people needing to stop and patients only past this point, and you need to wear a mask or face covering required. I did not win an award for this picture, but it was used to document, I guess, the pandemic for in the city is putting together kind of an exhibition of photos related to the pandemic. So I will continue, go over to some other photo contests that I entered. And here we go. In 2019, Sam Houston Memorial Museum also had a photo contest. I entered some photos, and here's one of the photos I entered. This is of a rock pigeon, and I was able to win third place in the nature category. And I like this photo because I captured the face of the pigeon. It was fairly sharp and clear. You could see how his eyes, how he's very concentrated looking ahead, but then there is a blurring effect, or his wings were blurred. So there's a contrast between blurring and very sharp. And I also submitted a photo for the category called abstract. This was taken at a museum in downtown Houston, the art museum. And this was a art kind of a sculpture or scene, and this is my wife walking through this scene. I thought it was kind of cool with the rectangles and the different angles and the colors, and I was able to win first place in the abstract category with this photograph. We'll continue. And also my photography club back in 2019 had a photography contest again, which they do every year. I submitted photographs in this contest, but as you can see, I submitted 6 photographs, but I did not win anything this year, and we say that's how it goes sometimes, but it's fun to enter. This was a photo I entered into the digital manipulation category, and it's also a photo composite. I took this picture of a path in the woods, and then I added these other items of this Buddha, these Buddhist monks walking around in this statue of Buddha, and I added the light rays coming from the Buddha. I just thought it was kind of a cool looking effect. This was also one I entered into the digital manipulation category. It's a photo composite. This was actually taken in the daytime in Sedona, Arizona, but I converted it into a nighttime photo. I added this photo of the Milky Way, which I took in another city, and I also added a picture of the blood moon. So it's actually a composite composed of 3 separate or different photographs combined into one, and I thought that was a cool look. I did submit this pigeon photo in the club contest in the open category, but did not win anything. I also submitted this photo as a black and white in the abstract category, and the category was black and white. The theme was abstract, and I called it perspective. And I submitted this photograph in the nature category. The theme was seasons, which you can see the season is winter. And this is a picture that I took of the Grand Tetons, which is a national park. It's a very famous national park, and the Grand Tetons are a mountain range, and this is a cabin in a field across the river from the Grand Tetons. Again, I did not win any award or prizes for that. And this was another photo, the last photo I submitted in the category called low key, and it's black and white, and I titled this Flame and Smoke. And this was a candle that was used to kind of drive away mosquitoes in the backyard, but I just liked how the smoke came up and billowed around and made these forms and shapes. I thought it was just kind of cool looking. But, sadly, I was not able to win any awards. But in English, we say that's how the ball bounces. That's how it goes. Sometimes you can't win them all. This is something a little interesting in my city where I live. There's a house called the Win Home, and it's a place where there are a lot of arts and crafts center, and they had a local artist exhibition featuring local artists in my city, and I submitted a photograph of a bald eagle that I took in another city about 45 minutes from here, and it was placed in the exhibition, and this is me standing below my photograph. It was a great honor to be included into this local exhibit. This is just a program guide of the exhibit and the brochure of the exhibit, artist exhibit. Continuing on, I guess there is a National Wildlife Refuge that's located about 2 hours from here along the coast. It's a very neat place to go, especially in around April and May. A lot of birds that are migrating from countries south, like Central America, South America, Mexico, they fly north for the summer and they stop over at this National Wildlife Refuge. And there are a lot of great photo opportunities. So this wildlife refuge had a photo contest in 2019, and each month or each week for a period of time. So I submitted some photos, and I submitted this photo of called a bird. The name is called a white ibis. Immature means like it is a young ibis, and I submitted it for week 4, and I was able to win the contest for week 4 for this photograph. And this is my favorite type of photography is bird in flight photography, or birds flying. So I just love to take photographs of birds flying, and I was happy to win this. And I also submitted another photo for week 5, and I was able to win the photo for week 5. And this is a red-tailed hawk that I caught also in flight or flying. So I was happy to. And I did receive a gift certificate for each award that I got, $20 each, and I was able to redeem or use that at the Wildlife Refuge has a store, and I was able to go there and get some books and other things from the store. Also, I was a member of an art league called the Woodlands Art League, and I was into drawing at the time. And I was able to enter some drawings and also a photograph. And this is a photograph that I entered of a bald eagle. And I won first honorable mention in the photography category. Also, I entered some drawings, and this was called a trompe-l'oeil drawing, and all of this is drawn. The piece of paper is actually a drawing. The tape is a drawing. The wood is a drawing. And I was able to win 3rd place for this in the category in non-professional. I'd only been drawing for maybe 6 months. And I entered this was a drawing of a kind of a Mayan stone carving, which I saw at the Museum of Fine Arts down in Houston. And I was able to win first honorable mention for this drawing in this contest of the Woodlands Art League in the winter of 2019. Again, my local Sam Houston Memorial Museum had a photo contest in 2018. I submitted some photographs. I submitted this photograph in the floral competition. And this is a Christmas cactus, and it had water droplets on it. And I was able to win 2nd place for this photograph. Also submitted this photograph. There was a category called Museum Grounds, or pictures taken in the park that's located on the museum facility. And this is like a little creek with water running down it. And I was able to win 3rd place in this category. I submitted this same photo of the great egret, and I won what is called Curators Choice Award for the animals category. And then I submitted this photograph for people, and this also won Curators Choice Award. And as you can see, this is the same photograph I used in the photograph that I showed you earlier that was a composite. So this is the original photograph, and it's a silhouette with the person in black because the sun was coming up from behind. And this was taken in Sedona, Arizona. And I submitted this photograph in the floral competition. This is called a macro photograph, which means that it was a very close-up photograph. And you can see the small parts of the flowers here in great detail. And I was lucky to win first place for this photograph. So I've had quite a bit of luck in photo competitions, and I'm just honored to have received that. My photography club had a photo contest in 2018, and I entered some photos in this contest as well. And this was entered in the category wild card and field trips. And this was of a gypsy cob horse, was taken at a ranch close to my house or city where I live. And I was able to win third place for this photograph. This was taken in the morning, kind of as the sun was coming up. And I just love the way this is called the mane of the horse here is very long, a lot of hair which falls down. I entered this photograph in the people competition category, and the theme was sports, and this was a picture of a young boy that I just took at a park in another city. He was playing soccer, and I thought it was cool as I was able to catch him as he was kicking the ball, and he was in the air. His body had left the air. And this was another photo I submitted in the new members category. And the theme was called bokeh or bokeh, which just means the blurring of the background. And this was a squirrel that I shot or took a picture of in my backyard. And I was lucky enough to win third place for this photograph. Continuing on, we're almost through, but I hope you're enjoying looking at some of these. And if you're a photographer yourself, kind of let me know. Leave a comment in the description below. I'd love to know that. If you have a website or anything or photos, I'd love to take a look, because I love to see what other people do and look at other people's photographs. So here was the local Sam Houston Memorial Museum competition we had in 2017. I submitted this photo for the architecture category and won third place. This is a small house that's in a small town in West Texas called Del City, but I just love the look of it, the design, architecture, and the interesting color of the house. I submitted this photo of a sunset, which I took, I guess I was driving home through the countryside and the sun was setting. I had to stop and pull over on the side of the road. I submitted this in the category Open Spaces and won Curators' Choice Award. And then I submitted this photo of the gypsy cob horse in this competition. And I was in the animals category, and I won first place for animals category. And in this competition, they also have an overall winner of the total competition from each category. And I was lucky enough and honored to win what is called Best in Show. So this was chosen as the best photograph of all the photographs entered into this competition this year. So that was kind of one of the highlights of my photography career thus far, to win Best in Show. And the last one was the local Sam Houston Memorial Museum had a competition in 2016, and I submitted not too many photographs because I was a new photographer back then. I hadn't been doing photography for very long, and I submitted this called macro photograph or close-up photograph of a robber fly on a plant. And this won the Curator's Choice Award. So I hope you enjoyed looking at these photos. Like I said, photography is just a real passion of mine, one of the most favorite things that I love to do, in addition to studying and learning Spanish. So if you like this video, let me know. Leave a comment in the description below. Again, if you take photographs or photographer, let me know about your photographs. I'd love to see them. Again, if you like this video and this channel, hey, hit the like button and subscribe. Again, use this video as a means, as a tool to practice your listening comprehension. And if you need to, turn on the subtitles so you can follow along and read along, and then watch the video over again without subtitles. I'm speaking at a fairly normal pace. I'm not really trying to slow down at all or very much at all. And again, this is a different type of format from my usual videos, but it helps to change things up a bit, as we say in English, do things a little bit differently at times. So keep watching. We'll be bringing you more videos. I know I haven't been able to upload videos like I wanted to. I've been kind of busy over the holidays, but I'll try to get back into the flow of things, as we say. So until next time, we'll talk to you later on Learn Everyday English. Hey, goodbye.